Prabhupada says that one should be captivated by such information. Normally, the conditioned soul is captivated by the information of the material world. Very much interested in reading some magazine, some newspaper, current news, what is happening, sports, politics, sociology, science, astrology, astronomy, so many different things, so many different subject matters of this material world. The conditioned soul is very much interested in, and he wants to know so many things which is happening. Just a minute. This is Dhanivas Prabhu's secretary. Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Ram Prabhuji. Yeah. No, Prabhuji, I am not aware. I am not managing the cremation. So maybe Ram Vijay Prabhu will be having more information. I am not handling the cremation. Okay, sorry. So, so we are captivated by so many ideas of this material world, and we are spending so much time. Normally, people are spending so much time in reading magazines, in seeing movies, or in discussing so many different topics of the material world. But a person of knowledge, he understands these topics of material world. They are very stale. They are very stale topics. They are not topics which can be relished. They are stale topics. Why they are stale topics? Because this material world is such a boring place that we cannot have any new problem, we cannot have any new solution, we cannot have anything new. Everything is stale. Puna puna charvita charvananam. The same problem is going on from time immemorial. That people are born, people are dying, there is some disease, and there is old age, and there are various impediments like war, pestilence, adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidevika. This is going on from time immemorial. There is nothing, no new news. There is nothing like some different fourth kind of misery has been found, which was not found before. These Vedas don't have information about this new kind of misery. It has been suddenly found now only. There is nothing like that. Only three types of miseries. Adhyatmika, adibhautika, adidevika. Only three types of miseries. And everyone is inflicted only by these three types of miseries. There is no fourth type of misery one has been inflicted. Nobody can claim that their problem in this material world is unique. Oh, my problem is so unique. No one would have faced such a problem before, that now I am facing this problem. And this problem is something which nobody has faced. Nobody can claim like that. Nobody can claim that their problem is very unique. And they are facing something which has never been faced before. So there is nothing to be captivated about the material world, even though due to ignorance, the jiva is thinking that there is something to be captivated about this material world. Only due to ignorance he is thinking like that. But actually we should be captivated about the spiritual world. So that's what Prabhupada says in Bhagavad Gita, in in the 15th chapter, Natad bhashayate suryo na shashanko na bhavakaha. One should be captivated by this information, Prabhupada says. So, therefore, when there is this description of Vaikuntha of the spiritual world in Bhagavatam, whenever there is description of the form of the Lord, whenever there is description of Vaikuntha, whenever there is description of something about spiritual world, then we should become very alert. We should become very alert. We should start focusing. We should start concentrating. Oh, this is the form of the Lord. Every time he is discussing his four hands. It should not be like that. Okay. Tuck, 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 tuck. Remove the pages. We should become very alert because we should be captivated by it. So if we have to be captivated by it, then we should very carefully try to understand this information. This is something which we wanted to know because we are reading about Vaikuntha. Okay, please read.
In Vaikuntha Lok there is no occupation but the service of the Lord, and this service is not rendered with a purpose. Although every service has a particular result, the devotees never aspire for the fulfillment of their own desires. Their desires are fulfilled by rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord.
So when he says that is rendered with not rendered with a purpose, means that is not rendered with a purpose other than satisfying the Supreme Lord. There is no other purpose other than satisfying the Supreme Lord. In the material world, the husband renders some service to the wife, but it is not only for the satisfaction of the wife, but he also expects something from the wife. He thinks that, oh, if I render some service to my wife, she will take care of me nicely, she will cook very nice, tasty food, I can have nice sex life with her, and she can speak to me very nicely. All these different things he is thinking. So, the wife is also serving the husband, but she also has a motive. She also thinking, oh, I am serving this man, he will take care of me, he will protect me, he will give me this support, that support, he will give me children, he will give me family, and I can live with him happily ever after. So, she is also thinking like that. So, in the material world, every service has some purpose. And when that purpose is not fulfilled, then the service is also disturbed. The service is also disturbed. But the purpose is not fulfilled. Then they become very angry. Oh, I am doing so much to you. You are not doing anything to me. You are not taking care of me. What is this nonsense? Then they fight with each other. But in the spiritual world, there is no question of having any other purpose other than pleasing the Supreme Lord. And there is also no one who will actually take away your service. The husband become very angry with the wife, and then he tells the wife, oh, I will throw you out, I will divorce, I will bring another wife. Or the wife become happy with the husband, and then he says, what husband you are, throw you out, I will divorce, I will bring another husband. So, all this kind of competition is there in the material world. In the material world, there is strong competition for every position. Like in countries like India, if there is one job, then maybe 10,000 people or 20,000 people or 1 lakh people apply. Sometimes government job comes, government announces, okay, we have 10,000 jobs. Then for the 10,000 jobs, maybe 10 lakh people are applying. And then everybody is fighting who will get the job, who will not get the job. Then somebody gives some undercut dealing and then tries to secure the job. So there's so much of competition. The material world is filled with competition for taking each other's position. In the spiritual world, there is competition to please the Lord, not to take each other's position. Everybody wants to please the Lord. To that extent, there is competition. But there is no competition to take each other's position. Everybody's position is fixed. And everyone is very happily doing service.
So what is the desire here it is mentioned?
The desire is only to fulfill the Lord's purpose. The desires are fulfilled by rendering transcendental loving service to the Lord. So they don't have any desire of their own. They just want to do service to the Lord, and their desire is fulfilled by serving the Lord. Everything they want for the Lord's service, they don't want it for their own thing, their own gratification. But in the material world, even though it may look as if people want something for somebody else, but the actual reason for wanting is their own sense gratification. A person may say, oh, I am sacrificing everything for my family. I sacrifice my life for my family. But that fellow is looking for his own sense gratification in terms of feeling that I am the maintainer of the family. Without me, this family will go to dogs. Or some big political leader is claiming, oh, I didn't even have family. I gave my life to this country. But he simply want vote and power. You want the power, you want to be in power, you want to be in vote, you want to control. So everyone in this material world, even though they claim they are selfless, they are all selfish. As long as one is in materialistic conception of life, and as long as one considers this body as his identity, then he is always selfish. He is always selfish. Okay, please read.
The kingdom of the Supreme Personality of Godhead in the spiritual sky cannot be understood by any process other than hearing from the description of the Vedas. No one can go see it. In this material world also, one who is unable to pay to go to a far distant place by motorized conveyances can only understand about that place from authentic books. The modern scientists who are trying to travel in space are having difficulty going even to the nearest planet, the moon, to say nothing of the highest planets of the universe. There is no possibility that they can go beyond the material sky, enter the spiritual sky, and see for themselves the spiritual planets Vaikuntha. Therefore, the kingdom of God in the spiritual sky can be understood only through the authentic descriptions of the Vedas and Puranas.
Yeah, so nobody can understand how Vaikuntha is by going and paying a visit to Vaikuntha. Like Elon Musk is telling that I will take you space tourism. Nowadays, very, very famous. Different people are competing. That Elon Musk is telling, Jeff Bezos is telling, so many different fellows are there who are promoting space tourism. They take somebody on a rocket and make them float for a few seconds and then come back and take many $1 million from them. So these people, the people who are making this also jobless, the people who are going also jobless. But how to understand about Vaikuntha? Only by hearing process. Where did we hear this before? Already we heard this before. The glories of hearing process we heard before. Where did we hear before?
Bhagavad Gita.
Huh?
1.2.
No. When we were dealing the last 2 weeks. Last week we heard about the importance of hearing process. Where did we hear last week? Somebody spoke about it. Who spoke about it? Brahma. What did he say?
He says one holy name can purify.
No, we are talking about hearing process. What did he say about hearing? He told. Yeah, he told 2 things about hearing process.
I always want to hear your instruction in the Vedas.
Was it to do with the transcendental pastimes and material contamination?
He told 2 things about hearing process. Brahma in his prayers, he mentioned 2 things about hearing process.
Those pure devotees who are always hearing, the Lord does not leave that their heart, lotus heart. Not that?
Nus. Good guess.
Keep quiet. No, it is there now.
Yeah. That's why I said nus. It is there, but not exactly what.
He's saying in the opposite that those who are like their lack of intelligence, they don't.
No. You are going in completely different
Was
direction.
it the point where he was engaged in knowledge and penance and then
So first thing he said was Jihranti Karna Vivarai Shrutivata Neetam.
Where to?
You heard this? Jihranti Karna Vivarai Shrutivata Neetam. He said that the wind of Vedic literature carries the aroma
Yes.
of the lotus feet of the Lord. And devotees smell this aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord simply by hearing it through their ear holes.
Yes.
Yes.
Remember? He said, Jihranti Karna Vivarai Shrutivata Neetam. This first thing he said. What is the second thing he said about hearing process?
They smell.
Smelling and that's how I told. Jihranti Karna Vivarai Shrutivata
They
Neetam.
see, and they see. Hearing through the ears.
What is that? What path he said? Shrutekshita pata. He said Shrutekshita pata. Ikshita means seeing. That how to see that by Shruti, by hearing process, one can actually see. This is the path of devotional life. That by actually hearing process, one actually sees the Supreme Lord. Shrutekshita pata. So these 2 things he said about the importance of hearing. that how to see Vaikuntha. We are seeing Vaikuntha. How we are seeing Vaikuntha? Sutekshitapada. Sutekshitapada. By the path of hearing, we are actually seeing Vaikuntha. This is the direct proof of what Brahma is saying. These descriptions in Bhagavatam, this is the direct proof of what Brahma said before. We are actually seeing by hearing process. Okay, continue please.
In the material world, even if a person is completely in goodness, he is sometimes subject to be polluted by tinge of the mood of ignorance and passion. The Lord and His devotees reside in the Vaikuntha planet, and they are of the same transcendental quality, namely Suddha Sattva. The mood of pure goodness, the Vaikuntha planet are very dear to the Vaishnava, and for the progressive march of the Vaishnava toward the kingdom of the God, the Lord Himself as His devotee.
Yeah, so the Vaikuntha planets are very dear to Vaishnavas. They are very dear to Vaishnavas because that's a place of residence of the Supreme Lord. So the Vaishnavas consider the Vaikuntha planets as very dear to them. And the Lord actually helps them to reach them. So, and there everybody is in Shuddha Sattva. Okay.
In material world, even pure devotees can be sometimes tinge of these things and affect that.
Generally, when pure devotees get bewildered, this is considered as action of Yogamaya, not so much the action of Mahamaya.
In the Vaikuntha planets, the land, the trees, the fruits and flowers, and the cows, everything is completely spiritual and personal. The trees are desired trees. On this material planet, the trees can produce fruits and flowers according to the order of material energy. But in the Vaikuntha planets, the trees, the land, the residents, and the animals are all spiritual. There is no difference between the tree and the animal, or the animal and the man. Here, the word Murtimat indicates that everything has a spiritual form. Formlessness, as conceived by the impersonalist, is refuted in this verse. In the Vaikuntha planets, although everything is spiritual, everything has a particular form. The trees and the men have form. And because all of them, although differently formed, are spiritual, there is no difference between them.
Yeah. So in their nature there is no difference between them because they are all absolute. They are part of the absolute, so therefore they are all absolute. Their forms are absolute, means that their forms do not undergo any change. They are absolute. And the trees are desired trees. Whatever you want, you can get from the tree. You can go to a tree and say, I want laddu. You can get laddu from tree. And you go to another tree, say, I want paneer. You can get paneer from the tree. Whatever you want, you can get from the tree.
Animal?
Animals are also like everything is everybody has the full capacity to manifest everything for the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of God.
Even tree, even animal also.
Everybody has the full capacity to manifest everything for the sake of the pleasure of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Everybody is in their full capacity because everybody is absolute. Everybody is absolute. So therefore, there is only difference in rasa. There is no difference in quality.
Oh, any rasa they can manifest anything.
No, there is difference in rasa, but there is no difference in quality. Means each of them have their own rasa. Like the trees are in Santarasa, the animals are in Satarasa. Then the associates of the Lord, some of them are in Dasyarasa, some of them are in Vatsalyarasa, some of them are in Madhuryarasa. So different inhabitants of the Vaikuntha planets have different mellows of relationship with the Supreme Lord. But all of them are in absolute platform. All of them are in Absolute. Yes.
I thought Madhuri Rasa was only in Goloka Vrindavan. Well, apparently, I was told it only goes up to Dasya Rasa in Vaikuntha.
In Vaikuntha, there is Dasya, there is half Sakya. This is what Prabhupada says. It's half Sakya. Half Sakya means that there is sometimes Narayana considers somebody as friend, but that person still deals with reverence with Narayana. Like for example, Narayana shook hands with Brahma. You remember?
Yes.
Yes.
You remember Narayana shook hands with Brahma?
Yes.
And what did Prabhupada say?
Brahma is in
Sakyarasa.
Sakyarasa.
But does Brahma behave like a friend? Hi Narayan, how are you?
That's right.
Is he like that?
No.
He says, oh Lord, you shook hands with me as if you are my equal. But I am not your equal. I am always looking up to you for protection. So the Lord shows friendship, but the person receiving the friendship is in full knowledge of the Lord's Aishwarya. That's why it said half Sakya Bhava. Half Sakya Bhava.
Okay. So,
Some Madhurya is there, but that Madhurya is predominated by Dasya. Means that Lakshmi is, they are actually wives. So there is Madhurya, but that Madhurya is predominated by Dasya. Even though the Lakshmis are wives, they consider themselves as maid servants. Like for example, Krishna's wives, when they meet Draupadi and they are all talking, so each of them says, oh, I am Krishna's servant, I am Krishna's maid servant. The principal queens are talking about how Krishna came and married them. But they all have this mood of servitorship, maid servant. Lakshmi Sahasra Satasam Brahma Sevyamanam. So in Vaikuntha, there is previously we read that there is information about Lord kissing the Lakshmis. Because the Lord kisses the Lakshmi's face, then her face has become very beautiful. We read now, yesterday we read translation.
Yes.
Yeah. So there is some Madhurya is there, but that is predominated by Dasya. Just like in Goloka, everything is predominated by Madhurya. So in Vaikuntha, everything is predominated by Dasya.
Rasa.
Okay.
No, Ayodhya and all are considered Vaikuntha only, not in
What is that?
Ayodhya.
Ayodhya, there is some Vatsalya is there.
So it's between.
It is all these are all transient realms. They are all having higher and higher rasas till it goes to Goloka. They are all realms which are intermediate kind of realms. In Ayodhya, there is some Vatsalya is there, and also there is some friendship is there, because some of them consider the Lord as friend. Some friendship is there, and there is some relationship of brotherhood, etc. is there. So there is some extra manifestation of rasas in Ayodhya. Then more manifestation of rasas in Dwarka, then even more manifestation of rasas in Mathura, then full manifestation of everything in Goloka.
so does Dwarka go to Vatsalya mainly?
Huh?
Because Dwarka go to Vatsalya only.
No. In Dwarka, Madhurya is also there.
But predominantly it could be Madhurya though, isn't it?
No, Madhurya is also there because all the wives are in Madhurya Rasa. No? So all the wives of the Lord, they are in Madhurya Rasa. So Madhurya is there, but it is Swakiya Madhurya, means that they consider themselves as wives. So they consider it a legitimate relationship. But in Goloka there is Parakiya Madhurya, means there is paramourship is there. Okay, please read.
They consider glorification of the Lord more important than their own sense gratification. In the Vaikuntha planets, there is no question of sense gratification. To smell the fragrance of blossoming flower is certainly very nice. It is simply for sense gratification. The inhabitants of Vaikuntha give first preference to the service of the Lord, not their own sense gratification. serving the Lord is in transcendental love yields such transcendental pleasure that in comparison sense gratification is counted as insignificant.
So there are so many facilities, wonderful arrangement is there, but everything is understood to be for the pleasure of the Lord. So nobody takes to take advantage of that facility for their own sense gratification, because by offering everything to the Lord, they get so much pleasure that utilizing them for their own sense gratification seems very insignificant. Okay.
Okay, there is no difference between the birds there and the human resident. The situation in the spiritual sky is that everything is spiritual and variegated. Spiritual variegatedness means that everything is animate. There is nothing inanimate. Even the grass, the ground, the plants, the flowers, the birds and the beasts are all on the level of Krishna consciousness. In material world, even and as enjoys his sound vibration. But in the Vaikuntha planet, such nice birds as the peacock, the chakravaka and the cuckoo prefer to hear the vibration of the glories of the Lord from the bees.
So it is also explained in 10th canto that when the Lord plays his flute, all the birds become like very silent sages in meditation, because they want to hear the flute so much, they are captivated by the music of the flute so much that they all stop their singing and they are very silent. They are hearing the flute sound, and they are compared to yogis who are in trance. These birds are compared to yogis who are in trance, who are very silent, who have their eyes 3/4 closed, and they are very seriously concentrating like that. They are compared to the yogis who are in trance. So here also, the birds prefer to hear the glorification of the bees, because the bees are very close to the Lord and they have so much information about the Lord. So therefore, the birds are preferring to hear about the glories of the bees than their own singing.
Close to the Lord means they encircle garlands.
They are circling the garland, they are circling the Lord's lotus feet, so they are in very close proximity to the Lord. Okay, please read this purport.
The importance of tulsi leaves is very clearly mentioned here. Tulsi plants and their leaves are very important in devotional service. Devotees are recommended to water the tulsi tree every day and collect the leaves to worship the Lord. One time an atheistic Swami remarked, "What is the use of watering the tulsi plant? It is better to water eggplant. By watering eggplant one can get some fruits. But what is the use of watering the tulsi?" These foolish creatures, unacquainted with devotional service, sometimes play havoc with the education of people in general. The most important thing about the spiritual world is that there is no envy among the devotees there. This is true even among the flowers, which are all conscious of the greatness of Tulsi. In the Vaikuntha world, entered by the four Kumaras, even the birds and flowers are conscious of service to the Lord.
All of them are conscious about their service to the Lord. All of them are trying to serve the Lord. So this is the so-called Swami Vivekananda. It is his comment. He said that it is better to grow eggplant than tulsi plant. It is better to play football than to read Bhagavad Gita.
Really?
Yeah.
Football?
Yeah. So that's why sometimes when devotees talk about playing football,
Oh yeah, because before
it's so funny because,
So Prabhuji, we should not play?
no, it's not that we should not play. We can play Vaishnava sports, we can swim, we can carry the book bag and walk. It's very good exercise.
But there is football.
Playing
But
also.
Prabhuji,
There
we
is-
are trained in a specific way. I still play. And I play like,
Even the Gopas, they play, they shoot in the fruits and so on.
Huh?
Even the Gopas play football. Not the roller, exactly
Yeah,